All right. So another video when we're talking about division is to think of it as using repeated subtraction. Remember with multiplication, we can use repeated addition. You know, if we said 3 times 4, then that means I'm going to add 4 3 different times. So I would say 4 plus 4 plus 4. And our answer gets bigger. Well, in division, we're going to, instead of doing repeated addition, we're going to use repeated subtraction, which means we're just going to keep taking away the same amount each time, and our answer is going to get smaller. So with multiplication, your answer gets bigger. With division, your answer gets smaller. Okay, so let's work through this and talk a little bit about repeated subtraction. All right, so addition and subtraction are inverse operations, which we have talked about a little bit already. Multiplication and division are also inverse operations. Okay, what does inverse mean? Okay, oops. That means that inverse operations, they're related to each other. They're the opposites of each other. If I said up, the opposite would be down. Okay, if I said left, the opposite would be right. And so in this one, they're inverse operations because yes, they're related to each other, and yes, they use the same numbers. Okay, when we multiply and when we divide, we use equal groups. When multiplying, we put equal groups together. When we divide, we break a whole amount apart into equal groups. And you've gotten some practice with that already this week. I hope you were able to use some hands-on practice with multiplication. And with talking about the inverse operations, remember, they're opposites of each other. And we talked about this on the first video of today, that if I had, 3 times 7 equals 21, and then I flipped it and I said 7 times 3 equals 21, then the opposite of these two multiplication would be division. Now remember, multiplication, your answer is going to be the big number. In division, you're going to start with a large number and you're going to get smaller. Still going to use the same numbers. 21 divided by 3 equals 7. And then 21 divided by 7 equals 3. And so these numbers are all related because they're the same numbers. They're within the same family, but they're opposites of each other. And that's why they're called inverse operations. So just remember, multiplying means you're going to put groups together. Dividing, we're going to break groups apart into smaller equal groups. Okay, we learned that multiplication is repeated addition. 4 times 5 is the same as saying 4 groups of 5. So 1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 groups. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. 4 times 5 is 4 groups of 5. Okay? And of course, when you add that up, 5, 10, 15, 20, you're going to get a product of 20. Okay? Now, we can use repeated subtraction to solve a division problem, just as we can use repeated addition to solve a multiplication problem. Okay? This time, let's think about 20 divided by 5. Okay? We're going to take away 5 each time. 20 minus 5, 15. Okay? Minus another 5 gives me 10. Minus another 5 gives me 5. Minus another 5. And our goal is to get to 0. Gives me 0. Now you're going to go back and count how many 5s you took away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm taking away 5 each time until I get to 0, and then I'm going to see how many 5s I was able to take away, I could take away 4. So I know that 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Okay? And that's how we use repeated subtraction. Let's try another one. 16 divided by 4. So let me stop and ask you, what are you going to subtract each time? Good. We're going to subtract 4 until we get an answer of 0. And then we'll count how many times we took 4 away. So here we go. 16 minus 4 is 12. I'm going to keep taking away another 4 because I haven't gotten to 0 yet. So 12 minus 4 is 8. Still not at 0. 8 minus 4 is 4. I'm still not at 0. 4 minus 4 is, I'm at 0. So now let's go back and count how many 4s we took away. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I know that if I was able to subtract 4 times, then my answer, my quotient, is 4. Okay? Let's do 18 minus 6. What are you going to subtract each time? Good. You're going to subtract 6 each time. So here we go. 18 minus 6 is 12. I don't have 0 yet. Got to keep subtracting. Take away another 6. 12 minus 6 is 6. Still not at 0. Got to keep subtracting. Take away another 6. 6 minus 6, 0. Then we know we can stop. Now let's count how many times we were able to subtract 6. 1, 2, 3. So I know that 18 divided by 6, I could take away 6 3 times. Okay? All right, here's another way to show division as repeated subtraction. Okay? You could take the same idea of taking away 7, but whereas we were going, under each other each time, taking away 7, you can come and write them over here as a separate problem. Okay, 21 minus 7 is 14. And then you can come over, 14 minus 7 is 7. And then so you're going to take this 7 and you're going to do it again. 7 minus 7 is 0. Okay? All right. And so what you do now is you count how many times, the same thing. You count how many times you were able to take 3 away. So that was, 7. You were able to take 7 away 3 times. So which division factor is shown by this model? Well, I started with 21. I was trying to take away 7, so I'm going to put divide 7. And how many times was I able to subtract 7? 3 times. So I know that it was 21 divided by 7 equals 3. Okay. Okay, 21 divided by 7 equals 3. Which division fact is shown by this model? All right, I'm going to put it up here and you watch. Okay. So we have 18 minus 6 is 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So what division fact was shown by this model? All right. We started with 18. That's my dividend. What was I subtracting each time? Yeah, 6. That's my divisor. How many times were you able to subtract 6? Good. 1, 2, 3. So 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Okay? 18 divided by 6 equals 3. What division fact is shown by this model? And I want you to pause the video in just a second. And I want you to, you can either use a piece of paper or whiteboard or something and see if you can figure this one out before I get to the end. Okay? All right, so pause the video and see if you can figure out what division fact is shown from this model. All right, I hope you took a second to see, or at least to discuss or think out loud, what division fact was shown by this model. If you got 48 divided by 12 equals 4, then you are correct. Okay, we started with 48. We were taking away 12 each time. How many 12s was I able to take from 48? I could take 12 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it gave me 48 divided by 12. When I divide, I start with the whole number. How many did I start with? I started with 48. What number did I subtract? I subtracted 12. How many times was I able to subtract that number? 4 times. Math fact is shown is 48 divided by 12 equals 4. Very good. Okay, what division fact is shown by this model? Okay, pause the video and either write it down or think out loud, trying to discuss to figure out what division fact is shown by this model. All right, so let's see what you come up with. When I divide, I start with the whole amount. How many did I start with? Good, I started with 36. What number did I subtract? Good, I subtracted 9 each time. How many times was I able to subtract that number 9? Good, 4 times. So I know that this model was 36 divided by 9, and I could do that 4 times. Good. Okay, we can also show repeated subtraction on a number line. 24 divided by 4. Start at 24. Okay, now remember, subtraction. We're going backwards. We're going to get smaller. Count back by 4 until you get to 0. So, let me let this pop it up here. All right. So remember, you don't count the number that you start with. You come off of that number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then how many times were we able to subtract 4? Well, on the number line, you've got to count the hops. So here we go. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we were able to subtract 4 6 times. So I know 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Okay. Let's do one more. Let's show repeated subtraction on a number line. 24 divided by 8. What number are you going to start on? Good. We're going to start on 24. What are you going to subtract each time? Good. We're going to subtract 8 each time until you get to 0. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many jumps? How many times were we able to subtract 8? 1, 2, 3. So I know that if I had 3 jumps of 8, then 24 divided by 8 equals 3. Okay, so this is just another way of looking at division. And so tomorrow you're going to do some more work on practicing division.